So, welcome back to my channel. Go ahead, like, subscribe, share. Today, I want to talk about some current events, and that is things that are happening today that really need to be addressed, things that we need to take charge of and change. So, my topic today is going to be about parents, and it's really parents be the parents that your children need you to be today. If you know that you grew up and didn't have the parents that you wanted for yourself, or that you felt like you needed, then be that parent for your child today. Children are struggling and being subject to poverty unnecessarily. Like, okay, let's get deep in this. When we were growing up, we had parents that liked to go out and to do things still too. They weren't ready to settle down and just be at home with us. But what was different for us back then is we had grandmothers and aunts and other family members that were willing to step up and to step in, because back then, we were raised different. It was more on the church scene. Everybody wasn't hanging out. Okay, what's different today is we don't really have that for our kids. We more so have grandparents on the scene with our kids today. We hanging out and doing just as much as they're doing. So, you know, there's no morals and no values. There's no structure. There's not parents and people standing up and, taking care of the kids like it used to. When we were growing up, everybody was your mother, from the neighbors to you name it. Nowadays, you have to be afraid of what you say to people, kids. Even when you see them doing wrong, you have to be afraid to go and tell a parent, because so ignorant nowadays. My kid won't do this, my child didn't do that, won't, but you're not around enough to even know what your child is doing because you're too busy doing everything else. You're allowing them to raise themselves, and you are putting them in adult situations when you want to do take them with you to do adult things and to be on the scene with you. And then when something happens, the first thing you say is, why me? Why not you? If you don't put your child in adult situations and positions, then you don't have to worry about so much things happen to them. Of course, they're going to get into things on their own. They're going to do things that they don't have any business. Peer pressure is great, and it is hard for them. But that is where we come in at. We need to take more time out for them. Now, if you are a mother or a father, single parent, or both in the home, and you working and you busting your tail, and that older sibling has to be there to watch the kids, and I'm not talking to you. But if you're that mother that keep laying down and having baby after baby after baby, and you're in the streets and you want to be with this guy and that guy, or hang out with your friends, and you're leaving your children home to raise each other, it's not fair and it's not right. Make better choices and better judgment. I mean, not just the mothers, but we have some fathers out here that need to step up. But mothers, if you have fathers out here that want to be a part of their kids' life and you're not allowing them to, then you're not just harming the child, but you're also hurting yourself, because when things happen to our kids, the first things that a lot of us hear now say is, oh, my son or my daughter didn't do this and they didn't do that and they weren't into this and they weren't into that. But where were you? Where are you? We have to do more of checking on who our kids are with, who our kids hang out with, what they're watching and what they're doing on social media, because all of that plays a part. A child is like a sponge. They absorb everything. So you can't just tell your child, do as I say and not as I do, because it doesn't work that way. Exactly what they see you do is what they're 9 times out of 10 what they're going to do. Exactly what you allow them to hear is what they're going to go and mimic when they're with their friends or they're around others. So fathers, be careful. You want to take your kids out with you when you do pick them up, or you do have them allowed to spend time with them, or even if you're in the home, if you're taking them out with you, go and do things that your uncles or your fathers used to do with you. Take them fishing. Teach them something about life. Give them something to grow up with. Like y'all like to say today, drop a jewel on them. But don't just leave them out here to fend for themselves. Now, one thing I really want to address that I just dislike so much, and that is the fact that we're having them and we're allowing them to be at home and not thinking about what we used to do. The ones that didn't have grandmothers and aunties to keep them, we were doing the same thing as these young kids or young girls are being left to do today. We're taking care of them. And what were you guys doing? Some of us, or some of you, when your mother left you home and you had to babysit, you were sneaking people in through the window, through the front door, the back door, whatever. And how did some of us get pregnant? Like that. A lot of us got pregnant because we were forced to be out on our own at early ages, so I'm not bashing you. But if you know that that was your situation, then give your child a fighting chance. If you don't have to be at work and you don't have to be out there in the streets all the time, grab your daughter. Show her how to be the woman. Show her how to be a woman. Show her how to love herself. Show her how to respect herself. Teach her that these young boys, you can get with them and you can lay down with them right now, but are they promised to you? Are they going to be your husband in the long run? Teach them not to just be somebody's bed wench, but to be better than that, to look better for more than that, to strive for better than that, to want to be somebody's wife, and how to carry themselves so that they can attract that kind of attention. If you are dressing any kind of way in front of them, if you are, allowing all kind of things to be present in front of them, then you have to expect that when they grow up and they're doing certain things, you can't just want to beat on them and talk to them any kind of way and call them out of their name, because you're hurting them when you allowed them to do things that they weren't ready for and they didn't understand. Another thing that I really want to address is how I see young girls outside late night. Okay, of course, cool. Maybe they're in front of their house, or maybe they're in front of their complex or whatever. But do we not live in an era today where kids are being snatched up and being raped? Do we not live in an era where, or that neck of the woods where pedophiles are great? Do we not live in an era or that neck of the woods where human trafficking is real? Don't think that it can't happen here in Palm Beach County, in our little town, in our little neck of the woods, because it can. What happened to be in the house by the time the street lights come on? Because we knew that. It was no question. Most of us was already had our baths, had our dinner, homework done and prepared. These kids are struggling, not even making it now when you come to homework. If you are not on that level and you don't have that education, get your child a tutor. Google is real. We didn't have all of this back then. They can teach them to read a book, teach them to go online, to research and to look up what they want, because we couldn't do that. We had to actually physically get up, go to a library, look up a book, find an encyclopedia. There's so much more technology than that. You will buy them a cell phone, but will you teach them? Other than just calling your friends and being on Snapchat and Instagram. Young ladies, I'm talking to you. If you know your mother's out there struggling and she's working hard to take care of you, do what you know you're supposed to. Help her out. Don't be grown. Don't try to do exactly what you see your friends do. Don't let peer pressure succumb you. Because while they're out there trying to do it all, they're not happy about it. And they're not really so proud. That's why they try to get you to do it, because they don't want to look stupid and dumb by themselves. Young men, be careful. Your friends is teaching you and telling you to go do this and do that, and you know better. Please follow your own mind and use your own judgment. Because when you locked up or worse, you're the one that's going to have to deal with it. And those friends are not going to be there. Young ladies, when you're pregnant and you laid up and you have that baby, your friends are not going to be there to take care of it and support it. When you want to go out and you want to hang out with your friends, you're not going to be able to do a lot of that, because you made the choice to lay down and make adult decisions at a child age. Women, I really encourage you to embrace your kids. Your boys and your girls, embrace them, hug them, kiss them, tell them that you love them. Teach them to be aware of people, not to be so trusting and so kind and so friendly to everybody. Teach them that it's okay to say no and to be open with you. Don't make your child afraid of you, that they can't come and tell you what's going on in their life. But be open enough with them that they can trust you, that they know that they can come to you, and that they don't have to worry about feeling guilty or feeling less of themselves and what they are. That's why we have to be careful what we say to our kids and how we say it to them, because that hurt grows with them. We have children, grown people walking around today that can hardly hold their head up because the past has torn a hole in their soul. Don't allow your child to be one of them. We know we've grown up, but we know some friends that have grew up with been molested, have been things done to them by their own family members. Be careful. We still have some uncles and that want to call your daughter around the corner, or even sons now, and offer them this and offer them that and do things to them that they know they don't have no business, and have that child growing up feeling less of themselves. That is the worst hurt. Be careful. Stop allowing your kids to go spend the night to everybody's house. Stop allowing your children to go here and there with everybody. You cannot trust everybody. You don't know what's going on in other people's houses. You need to stop allowing your kids to be there. Use better judgment. You allow them to go over there to spend the night because they crying and they say this is what they want to do. They're a child. You have to make that decision and use better judgment. You let them go, they end up hurt, abused, mistreated, things happen to them that you couldn't even imagine or even worse, they end up dead. The first thing you say is, why me? No, why not you? Because it was up to you to make decisions for them until they were old enough to make the right judgment and right decisions. Another thing I hate is females. Got to do better. Stop bringing every man home that you meet over your kids and around your children, especially your daughters. Some of these people are really sick. You don't know what these people's intentions are. They could be using you just to get close to your children, your daughter. When they finish with you, do you know what they're doing to your children? It happens. Stop allowing your little girls, even little boys, to be in a man's lap. That is so wrong. No little girl should be bouncing up and down on no man's lap. Everybody's intention is not great. You have some pedophiles out here that don't care what age, what size they are. And they're sad and they're sick. That's what makes me so upset about seeing kids on the side of the road at night, whether they're boys or little girls, but little girls more preferably, because I see them at very young and tender ages. Little shorts on, they little tops on, they're enjoying themselves. They don't think nothing of it. They're out here having twerking contests on the side of the road. And this pedophile is across the street in his window or walking down the street or passing by in a car. You don't know who is preying on your children. Where are you? Why are you not there with them? We have to be careful. We see some mothers that really just wreck my nerves. The father's not there. You got to stand up and do what you need to do. I understand that. But if you that mother that is out at Taco Tuesdays and First Wednesdays and First Fridays or whatever it is, then you should be able to get up and make sure your kids making it back and forth to school safely. Why are there little kids walking up and down the sidewalk trying to get back and forth to school when your mother's laying home, has a car, and couldn't even get up and go take those kids? Why are the older children being left responsible? They had to get out of school, run their life, do what they have to do. 9 times out of 10, you land on your butt. You got them taking care of the house, and now they got to go run and make sure that the other kids get home from school and safe and taken care of. And some of these kids really love their siblings and see that you're not going to do it, so they step up and do it. But that is just angering them. That is hurting them. Again, some of these kids, just like some of us adults today, have grown up and are growing up where the past has torn a hole in your soul. If you still dealing with some things that you felt like somebody could have done something better about when you were a child, think about what your children are going through when you're leaving them and when you're not there. Fathers, step up. You see that this woman not doing right by your children, step up. Be in their life. Give them something to look forward to. If your dad wasn't there, you need to be there. If your mother wasn't there, moms, you need to be there. If you can't do anything for them or with them or better for them, then I suggest you give them to someone who can. But there's a lot of kids that are awarded to the state right now that don't have to be there. But because we have some women out here, and I'm going to talk about you and don't care how you feel about it, that are worse than a polluted lake. They're worse than a dead tree that can't bear no fruit. Why are you having these children? Why are you constantly opening your legs like there's no birth control? Why are you constantly making these babies just for them to end up here and there? Why are they suffering at the hand of you when there's a way to prevent it? Fathers, where are you? Because a lot of you get out of your kid's life and you just like the female. Or if I can't have you, I don't want nothing to do with my child. You have some females out here, it's the same thing. Or if I can't have him, he ain't going to have nothing to do with his child. Or he had another baby, so he can't come and see Junior. Or he got another girlfriend, so he can't come and pick up little Pookie. Well, they're the ones suffering, not you. Because there's some stepmothers out here, or some women, even some men that will step up and love to be a mother or a father to somebody else's child just for the love of it being there. There are some good people left in this world. Don't deny nor deprive your child of a life or a future. You got kids that are trying to do something with their life and they're not out here in the streets running around doing everything with son. Go to that little girl cheerleading practice or her games. These little boys playing ball, go to their football games. Be their support. Be there for them. Do you know how proud it makes a child feel to look up and see their parent is in the audience, or they're in the stables, or they are there? That is like one of the best feelings in the world, and it makes them go harder because they feel like they got somebody behind them. Uncles and aunties, I'm talking to you as well. If you know that your sister or your brother is not doing right by their child, and you have a little bit of free time and a little bit of extra anything, if you see those kids going without and you know they need clothes, if you got some clothes that your kids have or someone else is giving you that are decent and presentable, give them to those kids. Do you know what it feels like to go to school and to be half dressed and out of pocket and everybody's peeking at you and all you want is an education and feel just like the rest of the kids do? I'm telling you, it would be a lot less suicides, a lot less runaways if we just took more care and paid more attention to our children. And I haven't forgot about the other communities, because honey, we have some loose Beckys out here and some lost Toms. So it's not just happening in our neck of the woods. It's happening everywhere. It's happening all over this world, and I'm talking to everybody. We have some white kids, some white people that are growing up out here that are going through the same thing that we are in the black neighborhoods. The only thing is we don't get to see that because it's swept up under the rug. And when we were growing up, the only way we knew that a white person was going through something is because they lived in our neck of the woods. But we were young, tender, and at an immature age that we didn't understand really what it is and how they talk about it today. Leave people alone. You don't know what nobody's going through. And at this day and age and time, everybody's going through something. So I advise you, be careful. If you cannot be a blessing to a person, don't be a curse. If you see that woman is not doing good and not doing right by kids, you don't have to embarrass them. You don't have to talk about them. Go pull them to the side and say, listen, I'm not trying to tell you this and I'm not trying to tell you that, but I see this and I see that, and I'm just trying to tell you, I don't care if you have to put yourself there. I done been there, I this or I that or I the other. I just want to see, you do better. I just want the best for your kids. Can I take you here? Can I do that? If not, if you don't do nothing else, start picking them kids up. If you go to church, take those kids to church. Teach them about Jehovah. Tell them about Jesus. Teach them about the word. Mothers, take your girls to church on Sunday. Go out to lunch, sit down, start talking to these kids. Ask them what's going on in their life. Don't get so caught up in yourself that you forget that those kids didn't ask to come here, that they're yours and that they need you. If you sat down and just listened to your kids talk and ask them questions, you would be amazed of things that you don't know that they know or that is even going on around them. And a lot of times your kids are crying out for attention. They'll say, oh, my friend this and my friend that. And a lot of times it be them. Don't let the past tear a hole in your soul because your child has to come to you and tell you that, oh, mama, when you was going out and you was leaving so-and-so home to keep us, they was doing this to me and they was doing that to my sisters or to my brothers. And mama, we were scared to tell you because they told us this and they told us that. That was exactly why I never went anywhere far without my kids. Yeah, luckily I was raised in the church, so I grew up more so, living my life Christianly. When I was younger, I did want to go and I did want to do a lot of things, but it didn't make any sense because when I got out, the only thing that was on my mind was my kids, and the only person that kept them were close family members, and my mama, and my grandmother, when she was here, and my aunt. Lord knows she was everybody's babysitter. Ada May was there for everybody. And Lord knows I miss her today because she is who kept me from going through a lot of things that I could have experienced, because she knew what was going on in this world and what people were capable of, and she always taught me to respect myself, to be the best woman that I could be. And me, I promised myself when I was growing up, I would not be the mother to my kids that I have seen some mothers be. My mother wasn't perfect. She wasn't the best mother in the world. She wasn't the baddest mother in the world, but I wanted more. We grew up, less fortunate. We didn't have a whole lot, so I wanted my kids to have more. But now today, that's all we seem to do is want to give them the finest clothes and the finest shoes. But what are you giving them to go with that? You're sending them to school to shine and to glow. But are you finding out what they're learning while they're there, or are you teaching them where the purpose is for them to really go? Education, knowledge is key. Knowledge is key. And they don't really care anything. And I am speaking about our black kids. I don't care who like it and who don't, because we are fallen. They don't care nothing about whether we graduate anymore. They see you Asian out of elementary school, and they'll skip you right on up through junior high school, knowing you don't know enough. But we're like numbers in the system, and they look at that, and they see, oh, he didn't make it to here, and he didn't make it to there. So how you think that they're numbering us? Who's going to prison and who's going to jail and who's not? Oh, he didn't graduate high school. He don't have no education, so he's least expected to progress and to be successful in life. So they already got a place in the spot waiting for you. Another thing I'm so tired of is all these young boys that are getting killed here in Palm Beach County today, left and right. And all I can hear is on Facebook and on social media all over is, oh, he was a good boy. Oh, he didn't bother nobody. Oh, he didn't do this. Oh, he was only 19. He was only 18. He was only 20. He was only whatever age he was. Don't be that parent standing there saying, my child didn't deserve this, when you don't know what your child was doing. Father, don't be the one standing there saying, oh, my boy was a good boy, and you don't know when even the last time you saw that child. You see him going astray, uncles and aunties, even and fathers, go pick him up, talk to him, show him, tell him about your life story. Tell them about somebody you know that went through something. Give them something more forward to look for. We got to stop raising these kids, and I'm not being funny nor smart, but we got to stop raising these kids on just religions and on just out of beliefs. We got to give them the real story and what's really going on in this world. You can't do this because we serve this, and you can't do that because we serve that. I don't see nowhere in the Bible that says I can't play football and I can't play sports. I don't see nowhere in that Bible that says I can't go out and do stuff productive and still be able to serve Jehovah. If you're too tight, loosen up. If you're not tight enough, get on your job. Because charity starts at home and spread abroad. And I do believe the old saying when we were growing up in school, they said you take a whole village to raise one child. So family, get in tune. Start paying attention. If you know your sister or your brother or their family is working hard and they can't get to those kids and you got a little free time, go by and pick up your nieces and nephews. That's what our family used to do. Bring them in, bring them over. Allow them to be there and interact. Don't treat them like they too much better, too good to be around other people's kids. Unity. Black community, we need to come together. There's no more recreation, and like I said, there's no more others. I remember when we were growing up, and a lot of y'all know what I'm talking about. You could walk up and down the street, and you would actually have people would stop you. Oh, I done been here and I've been there. Not all crackheads and people that strung out on drugs are bad people. These are actually school teachers and really productive people, successful in this world, that fell off, went astray, followed the wrong person. You have to think about that. That could be your child. But we had it back then. They were coming and telling us about it. Now you have uncles and some aunties and, girl, my niece is fine. My niece is this and my niece is that. And you want them to have a hot girl summer. And you got them, oh, my little nephew going to be hard. Boy, that nigga this. But then when he shot in his head and they found him dead everywhere, oh, my nephew ain't deserve that. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Couldn't you have taken your niece or your nephew before they was raped, murdered, killed, or done, whatever, too, and sat down and said, listen, I know it look all good now and it seem all fun, but wait your turn. It's a lot out here that you're not ready for, that you don't know anything about. Teach them that this world will swallow them up whole, will eat them alive, chew them up, and won't even spit them back out. Like I said, human trafficking is great now. Not only that, we're being, our black kids are being kidnapped and women and taken away for more than one reason. And that's a whole nother topic I'll get back to. But, honey, they're not just stealing us for human trafficking. They're doing it for all kind of reasons. You know why? Look at us. We age and don't even look like it. Melanin is popping. They need organs of all sizes, and from all ages. They're not just taking our organs. They're taking our skin, our build, our structure. Come on, people. Get it together. Stop allowing your kids to run outside all times tonight. Oh, I just sent her to the car, him to the car. They never come back. You don't know who's watching, but somebody's always watching. I advise you, be careful. Be careful. Be the parents that your kids need today. We need to be more active in our kids' life. We need to be paying more attention to them. We need to stop teaching them and allowing them to be in adult situations that they're not ready for. Because that only leaves them to curiosity. And then they go to experimenting and doing things because they don't really know what it means, but they're trying to figure it out. Teach your little girls that no one is supposed to touch them or touch their body. Teach your little boys as well, because like I said, it's not just our daughters that we have to worry about, but our sons as well. Pedophiles don't just kidnap and rape little girls, they snatch little boys too. Human trafficking is not just for the women, they snatching little boys too. I advise you, be careful. Watch over your children, protect them, tell them that you love them. Mothers, if you don't have them, do whatever you can to be in their life. Fathers, if you don't have them, do whatever you can to be in their lives. Mothers and fathers, stop fighting amongst one another and allowing your children to see that. Stop trying to turn your child against one or the other. Allow them to grow up with a free mind to make their own choices and decisions. Do better, people. That's all I'm saying. This is what's current. This is what's happening today. This is what people need to know. This is what we need to talk about. But so many people are afraid to open our mouths and to speak. But I'm one. I'll come speak, I'll come talk, and I'll tell whoever because I'm not afraid. I'm more concerned about what happens to our kids today and what happens to us. So mother, if you're out there working hard and you know that you're doing everything that you can, I commend you. My prayers are with you. Fathers, because we have some stand-up fathers out here that are raising their children just like mothers do, where mothers have walked off and left them just like some fathers do. Fathers, I commend you. I commend you. If there's a father that wants to be in his life tonight, woman, I'm speaking to you. Put your pride aside, get rid of the attitude, and realize it's not about you. And another thing I want to address before I go just popped right in my head. I know you're going to say, oh, what about me? And I'm talking about them too because they have some issues. But more so I see that, I'm just going to say it. Stop taking these kids' money for you to be in the fashion show. And then being upset with them because some of them are old enough to know that my dad is sending money, dropping off money, or you're getting my child support, or you getting check, food stamps, Medicaid, whatever for me, and you're not using it for my benefit. But every time those kids see you, you clean to the teeth. How did you think that makes them feel? It's not fair and it's not right. You have to do better. If you're dressing your kids, especially little girls, please, ladies, stop trying to make your kid, your daughter, be a little version of you. Dress them appropriately. There are pedophiles and rapists out here that are not looking at you, they're looking at your child. And when you have them dressed up like they're grown, that's the wrong image. And then when they grow up and they get older, and you thought it was cute when they were little, and they want to go in the store and tell you, Mommy, I want these shorts, and they like 3 inches above the cheek, you want to yell at them and talk about them and call them thoughts and tell them what they want to be. No, that's what you created. That's what you created. What starts in them grows in them. Teach them better. Teach them to want better. Teach them to respect themselves. A woman is just as beautiful covered up as she is naked. Teach them that all of this social media and what the music industry and all these female rappers have to say, Nicki Minaj and this one and that one and the other one, it's not necessarily. And what the guys say, oh, we want to see the big butt and all this, man. No. What happened to you back in the day? My mother went out, my aunts went out, but I never seen them half naked. They were dressed to the T, gowns and all. Now there's nothing left to the imagination. It's all visible to the naked eye, and it's sad. So when you walk out the door and you having your daughter take that picture for you and you want to do your selfie, she's watching you. And what are you teaching your daughter? That this is okay? And if your son is seeing it, what kind of woman do you think he's looking for? Huh? And if you bring any and everything down home over your kids and your daughters are seeing this, what kind of man do you think she's looking for? Again, we're their best teachers. We're greatest teachers. They learn from us first. We don't send them to school just to get education. The most education they get comes from home. So again, I leave you with, Be the parents today that your kids need, because they do need you. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and share. See you again soon.